a good time. Put a smile on your face, yeah. KB Cam and Elation Radio. Even brighten your day and help you through the night. Bringing you good music. KB Cam and Elation Radio. And here's your host, KB Cam.
Happy Saturday, and thank you for joining me on Next Level with Trenace. I am so glad that you are that you are spending 60 minutes, give or take, of your 1,440 minutes of your Saturday with me. This is the last Saturday in March and the last Saturday for Women's History Month. Today, I have a guest. I'm not sure if she's on her way or what, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to proceed, and when she arrives, then we'll get to talk. But in the meantime, thank you for joining me on this Saturday. So today is March 27th, and we've already reached the 1-year anniversary of COVID-19 and the I don't want to call it a shut-in. Oh, great, she's in. So I want to welcome my guest, my super special guest, my best friend, Valerie Davis, new blogger, published author, Man, I love Valerie, and I really appreciate her for spending some of her Saturday with me today. Hey, girl. Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I am so glad that you are joining me for the last Saturday of Women's History Month. So I want to talk about what you do and introduce you to my my squad, the people who listen to me and who support me. Share a little bit about yourself.
Girl. Well, I have a blog that it's just a personal blog, and I just use that to talk about whatever strikes me at the moment. It could be in my personal life. It could be something that I heard, not basically necessarily about relationships, but just about things that I've experienced. And I think that, I just have an opinion about, like we all do, about a lot of things. And I'm a domestic abuse survivor. And, this whole Derek Jackson thing is a trigger a little bit, but I'm here to talk about it.
Oh, thank you. So I've actually been following your blog. You may or may not know. I don't know why it won't come up, because I wanted to be able to give the web address for people to check it out. But no worries, I'll share it later. So I think it's important to talk about not keep these things secret, because the secrets are what allows to continue to go on. What would you, if you knew of a woman that was secretly holding on to this domestic abuse secret and you found out about it, what would you say to her?
Today, I would definitely just encourage her to talk about it and let her know that, that she's not alone in it, nothing to be embarrassed about, because it's definitely not a situation that I think people can say what they would do if they haven't been in that situation. I think the lines get blurred with domestic violence and domestic abuse, because people think, oh, well, if you don't see the bruises or whatever, that it's not happening. But being a daily survivor of emotional and mental abuse, it's definitely not something that I'm embarrassed about. A year ago this time, I had no clue. It was in a matter of days that I realized that I was in a situation that I've been currently in. So I would just say talk about it, get therapy, work on yourself. It's a lot of internal things.
So you and I have known each other since high school, but we became besties probably after I moved here to Houston and I shared my thoughts about domestic abuse. I've never personally been in an abusive situation, but there are so many people that I'm connected to that have been in domestic situations, either mental, physical, emotional abuse. And then, oddly enough, there are women that reach out to me in my inbox. So how would you encourage someone to move forward?
That's a good question. Well, you definitely have to have a support system. It would depend on the situation. I've been in this situation where I had 3 young children and, no family support at that time. And I had to reach out to, there was a Sarah's Inn program that really helped me a lot. I went through Cabrini Ring Legal Aid Clinic to get my divorce. And then currently in in this situation, I just talk about it because I think that it's a lot more to this, I guess because it's not violent, but I'm definitely therapy. I would have to stress that enough.
So let's talk about what I really want to talk about, because as a life coach and as a watcher of people first, but as a life coach secondly, and my goal is always to support women to live their best life. And Derek Jackson has built a brand. He's built his brand, built his business on telling women how to choose better men and supporting women to make better choices when it comes to their romantic relationships. I didn't know that he had been around for 9 years. I had just recently discovered him maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I don't think I haven't bought any of his products, but you have. And we know a philanderer type. So what is your take on this entire debacle or fiasco or whatever label it is?
It's really classic gaslighting and manipulation is what we as followers of him or whatever have been. I was kind of on the fence about it because I came in kind of at the end of it, or when the wife's video had popped up. And so I had to go back and looking at that. Yeah, it's classic abuse, in my opinion. And the fact that he was talking to himself in third person was really alarming for me because it's like, dude, just give it up. Some of his points, it's like I don't know how to take his book. I had the book. I think it was Her, or I don't know which one it was. But does that mean everything that he said is a lie, or is he just a liar?
So what do you think the difference between the two would be, that being a liar or everything he said was a lie?
Well, because he had some of that, it's mostly like he was projecting that on us as listeners or readers or whatever. And so I'm thinking that, he just reminded me of so many people. And I really don't know. It's like, it's not funny. It's very funny.
Right.
He's convinced himself at this point, and I think the difference between him being a liar and him lying is, well, was he lying when he was telling us what we deserve?
No, that was a lie.
Right, and so he's a liar because, he's not practicing what he preached.
Right.
Obviously, the way that that whole thing. I just, I pray for the wife. I don't even know if he has children or not, but definitely them sons, because it's all going to be a cycle.
Yeah, I think they have 2 children together, I think.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll hear about all of this. Is just because in dealing with my own situation and my relationship with my son, I see his father. Just the level of disrespect, the way that he is as a father, as a husband. So, yeah, this stuff is definitely deep-rooted. I would be curious to know what type of relationship this man had with his mother, that he, feel like he need to clown women. He need to unpack that.
See, that wasn't even my perspective. My perspective on the entire thing was, I have been following him for a couple of years. His brand, when it comes to business, his brand appears that it stood for something. And then I saw, like, there were a couple of videos. There was a 7-minute video with him holding his wife's hand, talking, and
like with the death grip.
Yeah, that, and then there was a 35-minute one, and I was like, no, I don't want to invest no level of time in that. But for me, as somebody who loves women and loves to see people win, but definitely I love to see women win, I looked at him dressed like you would normally see him dressed for a video, and then I looked at her and her hair bonnet, and disheveled, because that's the way that I would call it. I would say disheveled. I just felt bad for her because he came on there and said everything basically that he had done, and then she said what she said, and I was like, but you here and you got on a hair bonnet. Nothing wrong. Shout out to you all who like hair bonnets. You know, I don't like a hair bonnet. If I'm going to do something, even when I'm live, I do a head wrap, but you'll never see me in a bonnet. I thought about how when Kobe had done what he had done, what they had accused him of, when Vanessa came out to support him, because I guess that was what that was supposed to be, her supporting him. She had herself together, right? Well, he
publicly humiliated her, so he had to publicly apologize.
Yeah, well, that's true, but
does that make the act work more forgivable?
So this is what I thought about. Me and I had a conversation about this on one of my podcasts a couple of weeks ago. When you are in a relationship and your mate does something like cheating or having children on you, or something that embarrasses you, some people can kind of ride it out to less people that know. But the more people that it seem like know about this embarrassing thing, you're more likely, in my opinion, I don't know, in my opinion, to leave because of the level of embarrassment. That's my thought.
Okay, so I don't agree that the outside embarrassment really matters. I mean, speaking from personal experience, yeah, I really don't care. I wouldn't care at this point in my life. I wouldn't care what anybody thought about, if my husband had cheated or had outside children. If I talked about it, because the thing is, with an abuse, that's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to keep it to yourself. You're supposed to be embarrassed about it. You don't want anybody to know that this man stepped out and had babies. But what does that change in your relationship, if anybody knew or not? You still had the outside baby, but you're still protecting him and his image, because he's the one that would look like the clown. Derek Jackson, that lady she needs help. I bet you can uncover probably some daddy issues with her, that man has control of her, to have her thinking that, oh, you don't know, I've been in a relationship where, oh, no, you don't need to wear makeup. Oh, no, you don't need to have a tattoo. Oh, no, you don't need to do that, because they want to keep you wholesome looking. But my father used to always say, you want to be with someone that no one else would want. But he had her sitting up there next to him, looking like a clown. She looked like she needed to blink 3 times for help.
Yeah. I felt felt sad when I watched it because I didn't really care what he said. I just watched her sadness. And although she said that we are working through this and this is something of the past, but it's been brought to the forefront for whatever reason. Somebody told. One of the women told. Somebody told, but it was probably one of the women that told.
And see, my thing, do you think that because it was in the past that she didn't just find out, correct?
Huh?
Did she just find out about it?
No, she didn't just find out about it.
Okay, so then, so like right now, they probably already, she thinks she already worked through that. That's the only reason. Like I mean, I don't know. Does she have a living? Does she have a career?
I don't know.
I need to know more. I should have did more research. I would definitely need to know, like, why did she stay? Was it for the boys?
So, from my understanding, she didn't stay when she found out. The way that I understood is that she left him and she went to her mother's house. And she stayed there until, from her explanation, she stayed there until she felt like she saw him making changes. And we all have our own idea of seeing a person making changes means like to all of us. And like you said, we don't know what we'll do until it's us in that moment. So for me, I think she may have been working through it, but to have whatever happened for this to come out again, to reopen a wound that may not have even been completely healed yet at this moment.
Right. Well, he of all people should know that what's done in the dark was such a platform. He probably could have kept that third person video. That was weird.
Now I'm gonna have to look for it.
Yeah, he's sitting there. He's like, this Derrick Jackson guy, and I'm like, okay. No one's gonna believe anything else that comes out of your mouth at this point, to a certain degree.
No, didn't he clown John Gray, Pastor John Gray, like last year, like twice, for cheating on his wife?
Yeah. But
don't he clown a bunch of men and don't name them?
Right. I think my question was going to be with Pastor John Gray. I think it would be the pastor thing for me. But, who is he to clown anybody at this point? I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know. Do you think that these type of behaviors in men are learned behavior?
I think that's a loaded question. I think it's maybe learned from environment. And environment means not necessarily your father or father figure, but your peers, because you've seen them do things like that. I would say then I would say part of it could be the fact that the father was not available, and because he was not available to show you what good things men are, because he wasn't available, him not being available put you in a position where you saw that maybe he was a womanizer, so this is what you were supposed to do. But I also saw where there was a picture of him and his stepfather, where he says that this man has made him what he is today, or whatever the little caption was. And I was like,
Right. See, I think that it goes back into, just in looking, in my own situation, it's like, this is something that you saw your father do. This is how your father addressed situations when you were a kid. Even with my son, I see the way that he addressed situations. It's exactly the way that his father did. Even my brothers, it's just weird, like, in that unpacking that I think some of that is definitely learned. Kids mimic what they see.
Right.
Yeah. And then, too, thinking about the perspective from an adult kid, speaking to a mother from that her place as a little boy, those conversations have to be had, like right now with my son, because his behavior I'm seeing and how he raises children. It's like, we got to fix that. Even the way that he talks to me, it's like, dude, who hurt you? So I think that with Derek Jackson and his wife, now, do we know how long ago this was? Because I know you were saying that maybe she wasn't ready. Maybe it was too late to bring up again.
Maybe. I think I may have understood that it was more than a year ago.
Okay.
So then,
well, after COVID, a year is not that long.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So my thought was somebody probably exposed him, and now he has to come out and defend his brand. And that, my dear friends, is why I say all of the time, I haven't said it in a while, but your personal brand and your business brand is important. How you carry yourself on a personal level can impact your business brand, whether you work a job or whether you have a business.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to operate in a level of integrity, not perfection, but a level of integrity. Be who you say you are.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Right, and so
because when he was doing that, he could have just stopped and pivoted and not talked about that anymore. But it seemed like he went more hard on the things that he was doing.
Right.
He could have talked about workout videos. He could have talked about how to create a business.
Mm-hmm.
He could have talked about how he could have pivoted and done something else. Because I know so many people in business that do something else. He could have pivoted and moved on to something else. And had he done that, instead of went hard at the level that he went at, this may not have even come out.
Mm-hmm.
It may not have ever come out.
Do you think it would have been different if he had been the one to bring it up, like when it happened? And confronted, addressed it, and because we can't say that, she should leave, because we don't really know enough. But if it's abuse, then she should. She just was broken. It's just so much, I think, that's still there, under this.
I don't think, first of all, based on the Derek Jackson persona and the Derek Jackson brand, I don't expect that he would have told on himself.
Mm-hmm. Right. I don't think that those type of people do.
He seems very arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
Very cocky. There's nothing wrong with being confident, because I'm confident about a lot of things, but
it's like he has an ego.
Right.
Sort of like, so now we know that he's a philanderer, and, when these people, I think that we probably respect Derek Jackson and others more if they spoke more from a personal, like you said, from integrity, using their, tell us about how did you get to this? You know, what made you cheat on your wife? Or, you know what I mean? Those type of conversations. A little more authentic.
So, how do you feel about men telling women about being women and what they should be doing with womanhood? How do you feel about that?
I don't. You know, I've had conversations recently about, you know, makeup, Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B, and what I won't entertain is any man who likes porn telling me what's sexy and what's not. Because who are you to say what's too much and what's too little? And why should I not have cleavage because of what, some creep? You know, like, no, I don't think that. No, men can't speak on womanhood. You can speak on what it is you would like, what you desire, but you definitely can't tell me how to be a woman. Mm-mm. What do you think?
So what I think is, what I think for real is a man has really no right to tell me anything about womanhood, what I should do, what I should not do, at a level like you have some experience of what being a woman is like.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think for real. You don't know what it is to birth children, to raise children alone, to be disrespected, to be heartbroken, to be lied to be cheated on, to work hard at a job and still not get the level of respect and the amount of money that you deserve and you desire.
Mm-hmm. I think that whole interpretation of, like, strong black woman, you know, I see that you were watching Aretha, and it's like, yeah, you hear about what she went through in the background. You know, those type of things would make you, you know, these strong black women. That you have to go through all this behind the scenes, you're still able to keep it together.
But the strong black woman, to me, is a mental health condition.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some strong black women are not going to like me saying that, but there is strength in vulnerability, which I have learned over the past year or so. There is strength in saying, I need to talk to somebody. There is strength to say, there is strength in saying, this
I need help
tough.
with this. Yeah. Yes.
There is strength in saying, there is strength in tears.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer like that phrase, never let them see you sweat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that phrase because that means that I don't cry, I don't hurt, I don't break down, I don't feel anything. That's what that means to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another part of abuse that we do to ourselves because that was the level of abuse that was taught to us in our homes. To keep it secret, keep it down, be strong, don't cry. And, I mean, in my mind, that's where the abuse begins.
Mm-hmm.
An emotional and a mental abuse that has been passed down to us from generation to generation to generation. To not show anything outwardly.
Mm-hmm. And see, I think that was the thing for me was that when it started feeling familiar, it became a trigger. And it was like, oh, I've been here before. It's just a different setup. And so, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation on how I'm working through that. It's just, It's a lot. I definitely would encourage, especially after last year, I would encourage everyone to talk to someone. Someone who, therapist, something.
Well, I have a hypnotherapist and a therapist. I see Brittany every other week, and I have a hypnotherapist. I think it's just about time for me another session. Because the thing about those two in combination is you can talk to a therapist and not really tell the truth.
That's a waste of money.
But you can. You can lie to yourself, and you can lie to the therapist because an omission of the truth is still a lie.
Mhm.
But something about being open to hypnotherapy, just a little bit, to access subconscious memories that are holding you hostage in different areas of your life. That's a game changer with anything.
I need it to be covered by my insurance.
I'll send you her number. You call her and talk to her.
Okay.
For me, that was a game changer for me about a lot of different things. As transparent as I am about a lot of things, I have been hurt about things. I have been broken by things. I've not been in romantic relationships that have been abusive, but family relationships can be abusive. Not necessarily physical, but emotional, psychological.
Definitely.
Friendships can be abusive.
Mhm.
So it's not always about what you see. It's about how you feel about things. And what's interesting is we all are born with the same emotion, but our life experience mixed with our emotions and the feelings that it triggers, that's what makes each of us individuals. How our feelings show up once they're triggered.
Mhm.
Let's talk about your book. Yeah, right?
I had to pause like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You think about something that when you little, think about something that made you happy when you were little. And that same experience makes you happy as you grow up. If it's something familiar, even if it's like adult, we'll go simple as ice cream and cake. Oh, my God, I love ice cream and cake. I'm getting happy right now just thinking about ice cream and cake. That's a good memory, and that triggers a smile. But the same thing happens with something negative, like getting hit as a kid as a punishment. And as you grow up, if you see somebody raise their hand, that triggers fear. That fear is an emotion that we're all created with.
Right, definitely.
Let's talk about your book, man. The book that I think everybody needs to read.
Well, Broken Silence was definitely written. It was almost like in desperation. I was really sick at the time, so I wanted to tell my story. I didn't want anyone else to tell it, like to my grandkids or to my daughters in raising their children or whatever. And so when I look back on it now, it did just what it was supposed to do. It pops up every now and then. I may get a check out the blue, but I didn't promote it because I was sick at the time. And then, I told you about the errors that I found in it. But I thought that I wanted to, write something else, but it's just so much. This past year has uncovered that I couldn't put that in just one book, so I just chose to do the blog to just write up on subjects when they came up. It's also a form of therapy, getting it out when something bothers me. So I talk about it. So I don't, talk to my siblings. Some things I don't talk to my kids about, so I blog about it. And then I have to also send verbal text every now and then. I have a friend that calls me sometimes after she reads because she may want to make sure that I'm okay. And I'll send a voice text like, "Girl, I'm cool. That was just, I had to get that thought out." So it definitely helps. I haven't went back to that book, but it definitely comes up on a daily basis.
I think you should rewrite it.
I would consider it.
I
may consider that. Mm-hmm.
I think you should. Mm-hmm. Shaking my pom-poms.
I may consider it.
Yeah.
But during this pandemic, there have been at least 4 women that, I can definitely say that have reached out to me, or we've talked during this time and they've made moves, whether, leaving, getting their own place, or just being able to get safely out of the situation.
That is
and
good.
That's like, rewarding only because, I had a person who reached out and was like, wow, like I'm going through the same thing. And it's okay to talk about it because it's like, judgment-free zone, because who are we to judge? It's how I look at it, I know that with my current situation, I know that if my finances were different, I would have been gone. But it's tolerable enough that I know that when it's time, God will bless me, whichever way. But this is definitely like that part of the marriage where I could say, oh, yeah, maybe in 10 years we could renew our vows because we put this work in and, yeah, I deserve all of this. But right now, I know that if certain things were different, this would probably be a different conversation. So that's why I would like to know more about what each of those, Derek Jackson and his wife, the background, to get them to that point, where they are right now, because I know how I got here. I'm definitely not the same person I was 20 years ago. So, I'm curious. So when I see stories like about her, with Tamar Braxton, things like that, those are triggers for me because it's like, yeah, people think that, these people have all this money and all this fame, but they still have regular people serious problems. Mental health and abuse that stuff has no, tax bracket limitations.
Right.
Even like when I think of like Kanye, for example, is he bipolar or does he suffer from PTSD? Because they try to link those things together. You think about how he's this genius and how he lost his mom We don't know much about his dad. But, yeah, it's like stuff that is so much more, I think, to the surface of these issues that it all can come down to mental health.
Yeah, and mental health is so important in our life, and you can tell when we're neglecting it. Even me.
Mm-hmm.
We have to recognize within ourselves when we are when it's too much. You know.
Right. Mhm.
We can't keep going on. I'm a strong woman, or I'm a strong man. I'm gonna keep on going when just ask for help.
Mhm.
Have some people in your circle that you can go to and talk to, that you can trust. When it's mental health, when it's abuse, whatever it is, just have some. It's important. I know some people call people their people a tribe. Some people call them a community. I like to call the people that I love my squad, because squad for me means a support system. I can trust them with stuff. Get you somebody that you can trust with your good, your bad, and your indifference. Somebody who's gonna tell you the truth, tell you your poop stinks, for real. Tell you to get yourself together. Somebody you can call and say, my mess, I don't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody you can be honest with about you not feeling right.
Mhm. Yeah, it's I definitely had to do that over this past year. I talked to you and one other person, and the rest I just share. It's like, it was when different situations came up, those people revealed themselves to me that, oh, no, that's too much. Oh, no, that's too much. Because they hadn't dealt with their own stuff, I have a friend I've known since forever, and, yeah, I know that what it was, in her marriage or relationship. And, yeah, the advice or, suggestions that she was trying to give, because I was like, well, no, abuse is abuse. I haven't heard from her. It was too much. It's too much to talk about. You shouldn't be sharing that. So I often wonder, do people think that you shouldn't share if you can't see it? Because would it be okay if my eye was sitting out on my face? Or is it, when it's your heart that hurts, nobody cares?
The more that we keep this hidden, the more that it will continue to happen.
Mhm. Yeah, because
if you
I often say
one person you can trust, one person, two people, that you know for sure that you can trust.
Mhm. Yep.
God, well, you know what? I love you, and I really appreciate you being a part of this direction I'm going this year, this season. And thank
I'm
you
glad
for
you
sharing
reached out.
your story. I tried to get you like last year, and something had come up.
Oh, this time last year? I think it was we were going to try to do something during the pandemic, but yeah, life changed in 3 days for me. So I got a little busy getting my own stuff.
Yeah. But I'm glad you came on, and I'm glad you shared some of your ooey gooey goodness, because I think you are just the bestest. And
Thank you.
I do. and I found your blog, so I'm gonna give the web address.
Oh, okay.
While I'm looking it up, give how the people can follow you on Instagram so that they can keep up with what you've got going on your blog.
Okay, so my Instagram is ValD 5.0, and it's Let's Talk About It. Let's see. You want me to do I don't know if you can find my Facebook page.
No, you cannot.
Okay, right. Yeah.
However, the people can follow you and keep up with you, but I got your website up right now. It's 50, that's 50, and free, WordPress.com.
.wordpress.com.
Yeah,
I need
so
my
that's
phone, so I just had to zoom in on that.
Yeah. I got like 3 pair of glasses around the house, and I can't find any pair. It's 50 and free, .wordpress.com. Follow my friend Valerie Davis. I love her. And we're gonna and she's gonna relaunch this book. And oh, you know I got you, right?
I know. Oh.
But I just really appreciate when a person opens up their heart and shares their experience with the world, because I just really believe what any of us go through is not just about me or just about you. It's our human experience that's supposed to help somebody else's human experience, so that it doesn't impact their spirit.
Mhm. You're right.
So if we keep on building on our human experiences, that will allow us to protect each other's spirit.
Right. I agree.
So with I'm gonna actually ask you the questions that I normally ask my guests towards the end of my show. What does Valerie Davis Next Level look like?
Wow, you should no prep work, huh?
Nope. Because I don't want you to. I want you to say what the first thing comes to your mind.
Well, it's really just trying to get focused on what it is that I have that's processing in my head. It's a lot learning that, you have a learning disability at 50. Trying to uncover how to live day to day with ADHD at this age, thinking there was a little OCD all this time, and it's just, so my next level would be organization and still freely talking about things, maybe in a more organized fashion.
Okay. Silly.
Yeah. Right now I'm all over the place.
So what are 3 things that you wish for the listeners to take away from our conversation?
Pretty much that abuse is abuse. I don't know how to mix words with that, and that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk about things that's happening without telling your business. It's boundaries, that we definitely have to get out of that mindset of not talking about our mental health as women and as African Americans. I don't know how many things there were. I think I gave you 4.
They were all good.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, so we've already talked about how they can follow you on Instagram, because Valerie does the best posts on Instagram. So follow her. She's always dropping a little gem. And what else? Thank you for rocking with us this afternoon. Be safe. Of course, a lot of states are opening up. Texas is, they're saying no mask mandate, but every place that I go, the sign says, don't come in here without a mask.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
yeah.
So be safe and cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze. Wash your hands, the stuff that we all learned when we were little. That stuff should not have just disappeared. The ultimate act of self-love to be safe and be smart and take care of yourself. So join me week after next, because I'm only doing this now every other week. I'm not doing this every week. We're doing this every other week on Next Level with Trenace. I love you. Be authentic. And see you next time.
All right, Trenace. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Bye-bye.